Hello there and welcome to this particular exercise. So we're looking at P.E.E. paragraphs or P.Q.A. paragraphs. They're very similar in nature and it all depends on what you cover in school. So P stands for point, E stands for evidence, and the second E stands for explanation. And we also have here P.Q.A., which is point, and Q stands for quotation, and A stands for analysis. Okay, so you will probably have one of these two particular structures that you use in school to write in paragraphs. Now this applies to mostly GCSE English and English literature. So point, evidence, explanation, or point, quotation, or analysis. Now, in this case, whether you're using the structure 1 or structure 2, it's exactly the same thing. So let's have a look at these in much more detail. So let's have a look at these. So point, evidence, explanation, question. So when you're writing a paragraph, you need to, first of all, state your point. So first, make a simple statement about what the writer does. So the writer suggests that and start with that particular sentence or any sentence for that matter. Secondly, the writer shows this by using the writer describes as and shown. So what you're making is that first particular point to do with your original question. So without a point, there is no evidence and explanation. So the evidence side, or the quotation side in this case, comes from you producing evidence from the text. So you give some evidence from the text by supporting your point, and you can actually provide that evidence in quotations. So the examiner or your teacher know what you are stating and quoting. So some of the key words that you can possibly use are, for example, for instance, in the third paragraph, be a little bit more specific by mentioning the paragraph, or for example, generally the writer says, states, and so on, and then you can provide this particular evidence. Now the last bit is explanation or analysis. Okay, again, remember it's either P.E.E. or P.Q.A., or you may have a third different structure. Now in the explanation stage, show how the writer's methods affect the reader. In other words, you. Explain how keywords and techniques from the evidence help to get this particular effect. How does the writer's methods answer the question, and why do they answer the question? How do they do this? The effect of this is, and you're giving the explanation, this makes the reader feel that, so on and so on, and this suggests that. These are some keywords that you can start off the sentences with. So when you're actually answering exam questions or even doing essays in school, depending on whether you're using the P.E.E. or P.Q.A. format, you have to follow this particular structure. It's very important you do so. Now, you could be writing pages and pages in terms of answers, but if you don't follow this unique structure, then you're not going to get marked for it, unfortunately, and the examiner is not going to tick those particular boxes for P.E.E. or P.Q.A. So that's what this particular exercise is all about. Now, in this homework exercise, you've got an extract here from Alice in Wonderland. Now, to be able to practice these questions, you've got to read this particular text and answer the following questions. Now, these particular options here are mixed up in point, evidence, or explanation, and you need to decide which one is which and where everything goes. So this is just basic knowledge at this stage, just to make sure that you understand the structure. We'll follow these explanations in our next class. We'll go into much more deep analysis. In the meantime, good luck with these.